Hello, welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley, and for the next hour, we are going to continue our series on business English. Pardon me. Today's focus will be on presentation. When you are the focus of attention and you are presenting material, how to go about it. Now, today's class will be slightly different from our normal business English classes. We're going to do something just a little bit different. After a little discussion with the group about presentations, we're going to look at a transcript of a meeting in which somebody presents some information. We'll use that transcript to talk about the vocabulary, the verb use, and the organization of a presentation. So change things up a little bit in today's class. Anyway, that's what we're doing. So let me welcome David. Hi, David. Good to see you again.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Hello, Hogan. Hogan? Hello? Hogan, I don't know what's going on, but can't hear you today. Don't know if you have a connection problem or some other little problem. All right, hopefully he'll come right back. Okay, plenty of room in the class. Anybody who wants to join, come on and jump aboard. Doesn't really matter if you're late. Don't worry about that. In fact, we're going to start off with a little discussion. David, excuse me. Okay, David, have you had to do presentations before?
Yes, I have many times.
Yeah.
Many times.
Right.
Because in my work, because I am a supervisor of or the manager, general manager. I don't know how to what is, I don't know what is my level for my work, but in fact I am the boss of a 200 people team.
Wow.
And yes, I have done many presentations for small groups and for large groups.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you know the basics then. When you're giving a presentation, does it make you a little bit nervous?
Yes, at the beginning, it was terrible. My first presentation was terrible, but now only a bit, and I think it's good because if you are a bit nervous, you know that you don't know everything, and that you have to do the best of you every time. Each time you make a presentation or anything in your life, and I think it's good. But you have to control this, because if you can't, you have a very big problem, and your presentation is going to be a disaster.
Yes, indeed. I agree with you. It's good to feel a little bit nervous. It gets the adrenaline going, heightens the awareness. You're a little bit more aware of what's going on. Yeah, I agree. A little note in regards to your English. Yes, you make a presentation when you're actually creating slides on a PowerPoint or structuring maybe an outline for your speech, what you're going to say. that's making a presentation. But when you actually give your presentation, you give it or you
Okay.
do it. All right.
Okay.
So, yeah. Question. Now, some people, for maybe beginners out there doing a presentation, David, when you do a presentation, do you write down everything you're going to say, each and every sentence, or do you just have an outline?
No, I in my slides. No.
Oh,
Uh,
well,
no.
obviously, okay. I'm sure you don't just read your slides because that's a terrible presentation, right?
No, I have notes about what I want to say, but I don't have a full text to read it because I think it's better to prepare the presentation to write down at the beginning of the when you are preparing the presentation at the beginning. I think it's good to write everything you want to say, everything you want to look for information, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But when you prepare your presentation, the notes you are going to take when you give the presentation, I think it's better to have points of what you want to say and use mnemonic techniques to remember things that you have to say. And one thing I think it's very important. It's if you forget to say something during your presentation, you don't have to say it to the audience because only you know that you are forgetting something. It's a
Excellent point.
common it's a common mistake, and you don't have to do it.
Excellent advice. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. That is a
Welcome.
great advice. And I have to add that I completely agree with you. A very common mistake for beginners is when you're preparing your presentation, they think they write out everything, exactly every sentence they're going to say, and that's not good. Because you're giving a presentation, you need to have some animation, some spontaneity. The people are going to be interested if they feel like you're talking to them. They're not going to be interested if you're reading to them. They can go home and read a book. They don't need you to read for them.
Yes, when I see a presentation like that, I always think it's better that you can send me an email with the text, and we
Exactly.
every of us will save time.
Exactly. It's pointless. I couldn't agree more. And that's excellent advice. If you miss a point or there's something that you forget to say, you're the only one who knows it. So don't let it bother you. In other words, keep the flow going. Absolutely.
Yes.
Couldn't agree with more. I think those are a couple of very excellent points about giving presentations. Let me welcome some others who have joined us. Um, Hogan, is your
Yeah,
microphone working now? Ah, there we go.
yeah, I'm here. Yeah, just somehow my computer frozen, and I just turn off my computer and get it back. Nice to see you
Okay.
again.
Yep.
Yep.
Great to see you too. Uh, Also, let me welcome Mustafa. Hi, Mustafa. Good to see you. Hey, where you been? I
Hello,
haven't seen
nice
you
to,
in a few days.
yeah, I was watching your recording, your recording classes. Like,
Yeah, where you?
sometimes I fall asleep and I cannot hold my eyes. I fall asleep and I miss your classes, and then I watch the recorded. So I'm following you, don't worry.
That's fine. It's just good to see you again. Welcome.
Thank you, teacher.
You're very welcome. V, good to see you. Welcome back. Nice
Yes,
to have you
nice to see you
with us.
again.
Okay,
I
great to
like
have
your
you with.
topic today. I really like it.
Okay, yeah, all right. Hey, hold on a second. Good, because we're going to talk about it. Just give me a minute. Let me just quickly welcome Ken. Hey, Ken. Hi.
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, kind of a big vote going on in Japan today. Yeah?
Today, yeah, that's annoying. Yeah.
Interesting.
Many people complain about that.
Yeah, I see that. It's just watching the news while I was having my lunch, and yeah, they had a lot to say about that. So anyway, maybe we can talk about it later.
Okay.
Okay. I already talked to David. I just want to quickly, before we really get into the meat of the class, quickly ask you guys a little bit about your personal experience giving presentations. David and I had a nice chat while you guys were lazily coming to the meeting late. Just kidding. Hogan, you have an excuse. Your computer crashed. But anyway, Hogan, have you done presentations before? Have you done a presentation?
Yeah, sometimes I did.
Okay, sometimes I have.
I have done.
I have done, right. It's present perfect tense because I'm sure you'll do another one, right? So past related to now and possible in the future. Yeah, I have done some, okay. David gave some excellent points about giving presentations. Do you have any advice?
Let's see. Yeah, I think before the presentation, you have to make sure that the presentation material is distributed before the presentation so that people take a look at what's going to present.
Great
And
point.
also, and my personal experience before the presentation, you really have to practice yourself. So let's say there are some people, the imaginary people is sitting there, and now you are simulating what to say and how to say something like that. So
Right.
so after some practice, you can present. And also, while you are presenting, you also need to take a look at the audience. So how they look and their responses. If they looks boring or exciting, so that you can change a little bit tones or change the tones so that make the presentation smooth.
Okay, Hogan, you don't have to take every good point. Let the other people have
Yeah,
a good point.
yeah, that's it.
No. Those were absolutely. That's great. Thank you very much. A little note on your English. You can't practice yourself. You said you should practice yourself. Well, okay. The subject noun is you, so you're trying to use the reflexive yourself. But there's some verbs we just can't use a reflexive with. So
Okay.
yeah, you can't. He thought himself. No, you can't think yourself. You can't practice yourself. There's some of these abstract verbs just don't work with a reflexive.
Okay, great, thank you.
So you just omit the reflexive. You
Just
have to practice.
Yep, great, thank you.
Okay, and you're absolutely right. Are you married, Hogan?
Oh yeah, I have
You are.
one son. Yes.
And a son. So there you go. You have your practice audience, your wife and your son. That's what marriage is good for, people. Practicing your presentations. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And I love that. Absolutely. Another thing that people forget to do is look at the audience. Make some eye contact. Absolutely. That's a great point, Hogan. Salute to you. Excellent point. Keep an eye on what's going on. Look at your audience. I forget where I learned this, but if you have a problem doing this or it makes you very nervous to do that, it does. Public speaking makes people extremely nervous. So I don't know where I learned this, but look ahead, look left, look ahead, look right, look ahead, a few beats, a little while, look left, look ahead, look right. If you just make that kind of a habit when you practice, you'll just do it. Yeah, I don't know where I learned that. I forget. I don't know. Look ahead for I don't know, 10 beats, look left for 3 to 5 beats, look ahead. I don't know, but it makes sense, and it kind of, if you think ahead of time that this is what I'm going to do, then it forces you to keep an eye on your audience and so forth. Yeah, David has an interesting point. Yeah, public speaking. I think this is a Jerry Seinfeld joke, so props to Jerry, but I think it was Jerry. I could be wrong. And he said, "Do you know that that people rate the fear of public speaking higher than the fear of death?" Which means, if you go to a funeral, most people would prefer to be in the casket rather than giving the eulogy. Bump. Okay. Anyway, Mustafa.
Hello, teacher.
Hey, you're back. Okay,
Hey.
Mustafa. Have you ever had to give a presentation in school or something?
I have done that many times. Yeah,
Many
sometimes.
times.
Not many times. No, sometimes. Sometimes.
Thousands of times.
Yeah.
Let me write that down. Thousands of times, Mustafa. He is an expert. Okay, just kidding. How about for yourself, Mustafa? Can you think of any advice that you would give to somebody else if they were doing a presentation and they were nervous about it? What would you tell them?
I took. I actually. I heard or I listened to some. To some advices. To some advice about. Too many advices about. Too many advice. Sorry about about the presentation and how can we do that and overcome that fears that come when we stand in front of people, like
Uh-huh.
and your mind went to be maybe will go blank, and one of them like to maybe practice your presentation material before you go and do the presentation, and make sure that you reach the level that the same level maybe you reach when you go and do the presentation, like make your energy go high and make your nerve go high in your home when you practice, like the same that make you the same feeling, makes the same feeling when you go there, like when you go there, like the adrenaline, I think the substance, like go high. So try when you practice in your home, make that feeling also and make this material go high in your body. I don't know how can you do that, but make yourself motivated at highest level. So you won't feel fear when you go there because you practice that already. So you practice that many times and make sure you'll do it greatly and
Okay.
you'll do good.
I have an idea. You could have your practice audience, for example, have a rope around your neck, and anytime you make a mistake, they would pull it. Get your adrenaline going. Maybe that would work. Just an idea. Okay. Okay, Mustafa, a little feedback on the English. Heard. Okay, hear, present tense, to hear, the infinitive. Yes, I heard. Heard. Okay, not
I
heard.
heard.
Heard. Yeah, thank you. And you know because you struggled with it, but advice is obviously an uncountable noun, and there's no such thing as advices in English.
Yeah.
And you can't have many advices, you can have too much advice. Much. We use much with
Okay.
uncountables. I don't have much water left in my glass. I can't say I don't have many water, right? Uh,
Okay.
okay. Also, pronunciation adrenaline. Adrenaline. Okay,
Adrenaline. Sorry, can you repeat it?
sure. Adrenaline.
Adrenaline. Adrenaline.
Adrenaline. Adrenaline.
Ad- Adrenaline. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. All right. Okay. Yeah, I agree. And you talked about practice, and Hogan mentioned you need to practice, and you added that you need to practice in a more realistic setting to get your adrenaline up somehow, so you're used to it. I think that's great advice. A couple of points that I want to make because you reminded me about them. You mentioned practice. Also, don't forget you're going to a meeting or something. You're going to give this presentation. Get there early, and make sure the computer's working for your slideshow. Make sure everything's all lined up and ready to go. You know where the dimmer is for the lights. You know how to technically present. If you're giving a presentation in a new place, a new room, somewhere you've not been before, you're not familiar with the equipment, make sure you try the equipment first. This is very simple but overlooked. I've been to quite a few presentations where somebody goes, okay, now let's look at our first slide. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, hang on. That's very embarrassing. Save yourself the trouble. Okay, and the other thing that you reminded me as well, I understand why you're saying try to practice with adrenaline. Remember, if you're doing a job interview, a presentation, an IELTS test or TOEFL test, you're going to have adrenaline. You're going to be pumped up. All right, no doubt about it. Most human beings, regardless of the language, tend to speak a little faster when we're a little bit nervous. So consciously slow down your speech. Probably with the extra adrenaline and cognitively, consciously trying to slow down, you're probably going to end up speaking at a normal rate of speed. Anyway, just adding to Mustafa's points there. Okay, let me quickly welcome Jose to the class. Jose, hello.
Hello, and thank you, Professor. Hi, guys.
Hi. Nice to have you with us. Ken, step up to the microphone.
Yeah.
Ken, have you done presentations before?
Yes, both offline and online.
Online and offline. Oh, now, okay, different perspective. Super. Obviously, I'm kind of presenting right now online.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could give us some advice for presenting online.
Mm-hmm. Yes, one of the advantage of presenting online, we can I kind of make a presentation, this kind of web online class, so I can easily, check my presentation after that. Easy to access the recording. Then I realized, I was too nervous. So in the second presentation, I tried to be relaxed or pretend to relax.
That's a very good point. Getting some feedback,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's easy when you're online because you can record. But
Right.
even if that's an excellent point. Even if you're giving a live presentation, when you practice, make sure you get feedback. So maybe my advice to have your wife. No, actually, have your wife. No, your wife is going to be honest with you. She'll tell you you sucked. At least my wife will. I don't know about Hogan's wife or anybody else, but I'm reasonably sure she's not going to mince words or be very careful. But yeah, okay, feedback, very important. Absolutely. That's a good one. Thank you, Ken. And absolutely, if you're doing online presentations, there's tons of software out there. Make sure you record yourself. Absolutely. I agree. 100%. Okay, David makes another good point in the chat box there. Make a joke about yourself. A little. Does anybody know what that's called? When you make a joke about yourself? Does anybody know?
It's like just laughing about yourself, about the things that you do. That's what I believe. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. I'm trying to spell it now. I mean, there's a word for it. There's a word or an expression in English. I am here trying to teach you English, self-deprecating. Be a little bit self-deprecating. Say something about yourself, you know, a little bit, right, making fun of yourself. Self-deprecating. Right.
Self-deprecating, yeah.
Yeah, right. No, that's a good tip. That's a great tip. Let me talk to V for a second here, if I can. V?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, V. V, have you ever given presentations before in
Yes,
school
I
or
have.
professionally?
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
have. In my university and in my companies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, okay, what is the most difficult thing for you to overcome?
I think that is the self-confidence and uh, how to overcome the feeling of embarrassing and intimidate, being intimidated. Because it is very important if you believe in yourself and you have a well-prepared presentation. I think preparation is really important because you know what you're going to say, and firstly you need to understand yourself, and then you can transfer your words to another person.
Okay. Now, what did you say, feeling? I didn't catch the first word, and then
Uh,
intimidated. I understood that, but what
yeah,
was the first?
embarrassing,
Embarrassed.
embarrass,
Yeah.
embarrass.
A person, you are embarrassed, or I am embarrassed, or Ken is embarrassed, but the situation is embarrassing.
Hmm.
Okay. So the ed, ing, adjectives. A person feels ed, bored, embarrassed.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I
What
want to express that the feeling of embarrassment. Is that
good.
right? Yeah.
Embarrassment is the noun.
Yeah.
So yes, that was well expressed. The feeling of embarrassment. That is correct. Okay. Oh, okay, that's correct. All right, very good. All right,
Mhm.
solid. That's good advice. Okay. Jose, let me talk to you for a moment.
Sure.
Okay, Jose, how about yourself? Have you done presentations before?
I have done that in my communication speech class when I went to college. They were asking me to choose a country or choose anything that I was familiar with, and just talked about it to tell the other students about my culture, um, about anything that is happening in the economy, whatever title subject that I wanted to talk. I had to stand up in front of the class and give a presentation
Mm-hmm.
about it. Yeah, and it's fun. I got nervous a little bit, but after it's like I felt like I was teaching the students. I don't know. I
Well, you
like it.
are.
I like
Well, you
it.
well, you are, Jose. That's when you're giving a presentation. Damn right, bro. You are teaching them. Good, you felt like you were teaching them. That's exactly what you're doing when you give a presentation. The whole idea is to teach them the information you know. So if you
Hmm.
make you feel like a teacher, you're probably doing a good job.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right, you said anything you wanted to talk. In English, you have to say anything. You could talk about anything you wanted to talk about. You could talk about. I could,
Okay.
I could present anything I wanted to talk about. I need to say talk about.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Uh, very good. Okay, the 10, 20, 30 rule. Yeah, I've seen that one before, David. Thank you. Another common mistake. Does anybody know? Open question for the class. Your 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 PDF or PPT or not PDF, whatever PPT, PPP, your PowerPoint or your slideshow. Uh, okay, commonly we call that. I was going to ask. I'll just say it. Commonly we call that your deck or a deck. So if I mention a deck in the rest of the class, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your slides in the PowerPoint. David brings up another very good point. Well, some very concise advice, which I will add to. He mentions the 10, 20, 30 rule, 10 slides, about 20 minutes, 30 font size, and that's very good advice. First of all, 10 slides. Yeah, one huge mistake many people make is they make a deck. They create a deck with like 30 slides, and no. The visual doesn't need to be the focus. Actually, the focus is supposed to be you, not the slides behind you. The focus is supposed to be you and your information, not really the slides. The slides is for visual stimuli that will help them remember, but you are the one presenting the information. So yeah, I agree with you, David, absolutely. 20 minutes, don't run on. Some people, when they get nervous, can't talk. Other people, when they get nervous, can't shut up. Make sure that you've practiced and you know your timing. And 30 font size, that's just very clear advice. Okay, great. This has been for me, this has been a successful class already because you guys had some really great advice for each other. I applaud you all. Excellent. Okay, right now, what I'm going to do is share with you a transcript. This is a transcript of a meeting and things that are happening in a meeting, and one of the people in the meeting is going to give a presentation of information. We're not even really we could care less about the actual information, but kind of how we present material in a meeting. So I'm just going to go around the class. Everyone's going to read the next part, and we'll discuss it a little bit as we go. David, let's start with Denise here. And we're also going to kind of look at the verb tenses as we go. Okay? Go ahead, David.
Okay, Denise, today we're looking at our new widget plan being built at Southside. I've asked Barbara to report on progress and bring us up to date and up to speed. Barbara?
Very nicely done. Barbara? Very nice. Like the intonation there. Very good. Who is Denise? Probably. I mean, what role is she playing here, David?
I think Denise is Barbara's boss.
Barbara's boss. Undoubtedly, she's the chairperson of a meeting. She's the chairperson, chairwoman, what have you.
Yes.
And so she's introducing the person going to give the presentation, which is the point of the meeting. This is normal, okay? You're giving a presentation, somebody introduces you. Very normal. Crazy question, David. What is a widget?
Good question. I know what is if we talk about mobile phones and other devices. But I don't know what does widget mean in this context.
Well, it doesn't mean anything, okay? A widget is like a substitute word for when we're talking about, like today, talking about business in general, and it's sort of a substitute word for product. Our new whatever, teddy bear, pencil, flashlight, plant, factory. Okay, so when we talk about widgets, when you see that in textbooks or you hear that, people talking about it, it doesn't mean anything. It isn't anything. It's an imaginary product. That's all. Okay. All right. All right, Barbara's going to report on progress. Bring us up to date and up to speed. What's the meaning here? Up to date and up to speed.
Up to date, I know it because it's to give us the information we have today about the project.
That's right.
From the beginning to today.
Yes.
But up to speed, I don't know.
Okay, up to speed is very similar to up to date. The idea up to, when we say in English, oh, I need to get up to speed on something, I need to have as much information as I can. You know, if you're in a geology class and you need to know about the properties of iron, you might say, I really need to get up to speed on iron. All right, I need to get all the information that I can. So as opposed to time, it's more about information, but very common.
And in this case, we can remove this from the phrase. I can say up to date and
that's it, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just added here to introduce this phrase to you. Basically, it's a little bit redundant to say both, frankly. Okay. Usually we normally say one or the other, not both together, but, you know, just so that I could introduce it to you. All right, quickly notice the verb tenses. Today we're looking at present continuous tense. This is what we're doing right now. So the chairperson would say, hey, this is what we're doing. Okay, and notice present perfect tense. I have asked Barbara. She's telling somebody that we're using present perfect here. I did this before. It's relevant to right now, so there it is. Okay, let's continue. Hogan, can you read? Okay, Barbara / Hogan. Go ahead.
Okay, Barbara. Thanks, Dennis. I will just outline the process we have been through, identify some problems, and give you an estimate on completion time and the outcome financially.
Great. What is Barbara doing here, Hogan? Basically.
Looks like a project manager.
No, I mean, she's speaking. What is she doing? What is she accomplishing by saying these things?
He's saying about the project and so what's the current status and what the problem is, and
she's introducing.
Yeah, introducing.
Right.
About
Okay. Basically, that's it. She's introducing the report. You should always do this. Introduce your report. Mm-hmm. There's something else she does here, which you should always do. When you're speaking in any kind of public way, I mean, giving a presentation or giving a speech, not maybe other ways. Another thing that she does, do you see it, Hogan?
Well, I don't know anything special.
Okay. Well, notice she thanks Denise. Okay.
Because Denise introduced her.
Because Denise introduced her.
Yep.
Always thank the person who introduced you. Just do this in some cultures. Well, English-speaking cultures, American culture, it may be noticed as you're being just a little bit rude. If you don't do this, you might actually want to thank everyone. Thank you all for attending the meeting. I appreciate your time.
Right, yeah.
Something like that. And then, of course, at the end as well. All right? Thank in the beginning, thank at the end. It's, you know, well, it can't hurt, and it seems polite and makes you look good, so why not? Okay. Notice some of the phrasing I will just outline. Okay, she's using future tense. She's going to outline the process that they have been through. Again, present perfect tense to talk about what's been done and is relevant to now. Okay, I think we can move on. John interjects. Okay, John can't wait for the presentation. He's that guy at the meeting who can't ever shut up and just be quiet. Be prepared for that. There's always a John. So, is it good news or bad news? Okay. All right. And Barbara tells him, Mustafa.
Okay, bear with me now. If you recall, after a feasibility study, we put the project out to tender 18 months ago and selected mm, EasyBuild as our project.
Sorry. Go ahead. Continue. Sorry, I forgot to change the page.
Manager. Oh, okay. Work. Okay.
Yeah.
I have
Sorry.
to.
Sorry.
Oh, project manager. Yeah. Our
Yeah.
project manager. Oh, I have to complete. Work comments about 15 months ago, and it's been progressing to schedule until recently.
Yeah. See, I don't even take my own advice, Mustafa. I didn't prepare my deck properly before the class. See what can happen? All right. I just wanted to demonstrate how that can be awkward. See, that's all. Just demonstrating. Okay. Mustafa, let's start out with this first phrase. Okay, after John kind of a little bit rudely interjects a question before she can even start, she replies, "Bear with me." What does this mean? What do you mean, bear with me?
It's like uh, hold yourself, calm down until I complete my work, something like that. Like be patient.
Yes, it is a very polite way to say be patient, and perfectly acceptable in a meeting or in any kind of formal occasion. Less formal and slightly rude. Hold your horses. Have you ever heard that one, Mustafa?
Yep.
Yeah, hold your
Yep.
horses. All right, but of
Like
course you
calm
would.
down.
Yeah, but of course you would never say hold your horses in a meeting, or it's unlikely anyway. All right, now what is Barbara doing now? She introduced what she's going to talk about. Basically, she said, "Thank you. Here's what I'm going to talk about." Okay, and she begins, and what is she doing here? What is she talking about? Okay. Okay, put. We selected, we commenced. Mustafa, how is she
Yep.
starting her presentation?
How is
Okay.
she starting according to this? According to this sentence?
Yeah, okay. Now, what I mean is, I'm asking about the organization. So she starts by thanking. She basically introduces and says, "This is what I'm going to talk about," and then she says this. What is she doing here? Organization
Okay.
wise.
Okay.
It's all past tense.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah. She said like after feasibility study, she started with feasibility study. As
Okay,
you
well,
your question.
okay, we're commenced. She's giving the background. That's what I'm getting at. All right. What is she trying to accomplish in general as far as organization? She's giving the background. Always a good idea. So people, you're going to have people you're presenting to that they don't even know why they're in the meeting room with you. I don't know. The boss told me to go to this presentation. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing here. They don't even know what's going on. They have no idea. There will be other people listening to your presentation that know more than you know. However, you have to take into account that one guy who has no idea what's going on. All right. Okay, now Denise says, "What's the problem?" Now she's the boss. She's the chairperson, so we don't need to tell Denise, "Bear with me, Denise. Hold your horses," because she's the boss. Okay, let's continue. V, could you read this part for me?
Yes. Unfortunately, there are three. Firstly, there's been a delay in materials, specifically steel, because of industrial issues at the suppliers. Secondly, We've lost days due to the weather, and finally, there's been a resulting cost blowout.
Oh, problems. Okay, notice how organized. Sorry, bad pronunciation. Apologies. Notice how organized she is in presenting these three problems. Please do this when you speak English. Please organize your speech firstly, secondly, and finally to introduce your points. We really do this in real life speaking English, and it is something that seems to never be taught to language learners in their native countries in school. Yes, this is real, and yes, we do this, and yes, it makes it a lot clearer for the listeners. Native speakers are used to listening for these auditory clues. Here comes information, here comes information, here comes information. Okay, so she does this in a very organized way. V, little struggle with this word here. Specifically.
Specifically.
Okay.
Which you can pronounce call.
Yeah, good. Okay, you're reading my mind. I was just going to say that. For everyone, look, in English, when you see this quite common suffix, a suffix, the ending of a word, this C-A-L-L-Y, there's okay, there's a number of adverbs that end with this.
Like drastically.
Drastically, not drastically, drastically. Specifically. Yeah, we drop this syllable here. We just plain don't pronounce this. Okay, we just drop it. It's basically omitted. Specifically. So, especially when it's a hard C, the k sound, then we're definitely going to drop it. Now, there's other words where, like officially, when it's the C, official, that also has a C, but it's an SH sound, and in that case, we do pronounce it. Officially, we pronounce it. But when it's this hard K, we pretty much always drop this syllable. Okay, anyway. All right, so problems, delay in materials, weather's bad, oh God, and a resulting cost blowout. What is this, V? What does Barbara mean? What's a result? What's a cost blowout?
So we can, I think we need to point out in detail that the cost blowout is the result of this problem. Finally.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
The cost blowout results in the final problem, I think.
Well, she's saying it as a final problem, but really, because of the supply problems and the weather problems, actually these are causes, and the effect, she's not really right here. She has one problem and two problems, cause, and really her finally is actually the effect. Or the consequences, thank you, Mustafa. Yeah, it is a resulting cost blowout. Cost blowout, in other words, it went way over the estimate.
Yes, I know the word blowout. It means you spend the money out of your budget.
Yeah. Over budget. That's, yeah, more formally. Okay. Blowout. Now, blowout is a good example of some business words that are common to use, even though they're informal. It would be very normal to use this word in any setting. Whereas you're absolutely right. The more formal, she went over budget. It's more formal to say that. Also, just so you know, because we are here in an English class, A blowout, for an American such as myself, is also a really crazy, wild, and exciting party. Woohoo! There's a blowout this weekend at V's
and, and,
house.
uh, and you let your hair down. You let your hair down.
You let your hair down. Yeah, we're going to let her hair down. It's a blowout. Okay. Very good. Thank you, V. All right. So, okay, she discusses the problems, and John, because he can't shut up. So, what are we going to do? Well, okay, Ken.
Okay. Well, they've managed to get another supplier now. I suggested moving the completion date back. That way, there's no penalty, and they agreed to redeploy their workers until building can start again.
Okay. All right, so she solved the supplier problem. All right, she's explaining it. I suggested moving the completion date. Does this work? In whose reality does this work? What does she mean, Ken?
She said date back. That means the due date becomes earlier.
Becomes later. Back.
Okay. Back
yeah.
Later. Okay.
Okay, so if we're going to move the meeting back from 1 o'clock, let's move the meeting back from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Like that.
I see. Okay, I got it.
Uh-huh. Can you do this? I don't know what company or what reality she's working for, but I've never been able to. If I have a deadline, I can't just say, oh, wave my magic wand. Let's move the deadline back. Shut up. That doesn't work. What reality is she in? Okay. Anyway, good for Barbara and her magic business wand. All right. Well, obviously, I'm bitter. I'm a little bitter about past failures to meet deadlines. I'm sorry, people. Okay. All right.
Even though there's no penalty, it's risky because that company won't offer the job anymore.
Exactly. Thank you, Ken, for a little common sense. Thank you very much. Even if there is no cost penalty, and sometimes a contract for things like building, we'll have a completion date, target dates, and if you miss the target date, there's a penalty. Absolutely. If the people that are building it, if you need to buy the supplies and they can't build it because you didn't get the supplies, they'll charge you extra money. If the construction company just doesn't get the job done in time by the deadline, then they may pay a penalty or reduce their price to build your factory or what have you. Right. So many contracts will have penalties built into them. But, let's just change the date on the contract. Yeah, right, Barbara. Whatever. All right. All right. Ken, what does redeploy their workers? What does that mean?
They agree to redeploy their workers until building can start again. Maybe resend. Resend.
Send them where?
For construction, the building construction.
Yeah, they're just going to send the workers to another work site.
I see. Okay.
So they couldn't do the work here because of the weather, because they couldn't get the steel. So the construction company redeployed their workers. To deploy means to send. You're absolutely right, Ken. So redeploy, send again. Of course, when we have the prefix re, it generally means again. So they're going to send them out somewhere else. And John, because he just can't shut up, then replies, smart thinking. And Barbara has a very... Thanks, David. Thank you, David. That's very funny. If I were Barbara, I'd tell John, if you can't improve the silence, Please shut up. Very nice. Okay. David, can you read this little part here?
Okay. We've been waiting for the rain to stop, but we can't control the weather.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Notice the exclamation point.
Yes.
She's dropping a bomb. Do you know what I mean? Dropping a bomb?
I'm not sure. Yes, I think she's tired of John's
Yeah.
speech, and
Probably true.
she's quite angry, and she's going to change the tune of her speaking, I think.
Maybe. Yes. Obviously, yes. We have the exclamation point because she's more animatedly saying this, but she's maybe because she's dropping a bomb or dropping a bombshell. When you give a piece of bad news, especially to a group of people, especially in a business setting, you drop a bombshell. But you're in a group of your friends and you say, oh, guess what? My best friend got married last weekend. You drop a bombshell, some really surprising information, or
Okay.
some really bad information. You drop a bomb. Okay, and of course, Denise, being no nonsense, being the chairwoman, gets right to the point. And the cost. Okay, Hogan?
Okay. At this stage, just a small average, but I will be watching it very closely over the next few months. With no more delays, we are expecting to complete the project just 1 month behind schedule.
Okay, so Barbara is giving a presentation of pretty much not really happy news, which is basically the worst kind of presentation to be stuck doing. Hogan, this time phrase, at this stage, do you understand what this means?
At this point,
Exactly. Wow, you read my mind. Yeah. Okay, great. Notice how she says a small. It wouldn't matter if it was enormous. She would say a small. Overage. What's an overage?
overage.
If you don't know, can you guess?
Is I don't know. Is it about the age? I don't know.
No, that's good though.
Old age.
Old age.
It
Yeah,
doesn't make
it's
any
very
sense.
funny because I know what you're saying because of have the
Yeah, underage.
underage, right?
Yeah.
Which is one word, by the way. Okay, underage, but there is no such word as over. This is a totally different thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it is. We yeah, English sometimes makes no sense. It would seem that these are opposites, over under, but they're completely different things. Underage, you're not the proper age to vote or buy cigarettes or drink alcohol or whatever. This is overage, not even pronounced the same. Underage, overage.
Oh, overage. Not
Yeah,
like overage.
right. Exactly. Overage. Um, yeah. So, okay, she's talking about the cost. There's a small overage, meaning over budget. That's again over budget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay. But we don't. If it's slightly under budget, we don't say an underage. Okay. Just to make that clear.
I was confused.
Yeah, English. What can I tell you? Okay. And they're going to be 1 month behind schedule. Well, okay. Good work, Barbara. Look what does John say? Okay. Thank you, John. We all know there's a John, so be aware if you're giving a presentation, you too may have a John. Just be aware and be ready to deal with John. Anyway, thank you very much for you guys. Very great class, you guys. My hat's off. If I was wearing a hat, I'd tip my hat to you. You guys gave some great tips for giving presentations. So I thank you all very much, and see you again next time. Ladies, gentlemen, take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.